Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video, I'm going to show you how to do this fantastic fall look. Super simple and easy, and I explain it step by step for you so that you can complete it as well. And thank you guys for returning. If you are a returning subscriber, you guys are amazing, and thank you for being here. And if you are new to my channel, thank you for coming and watching this video. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys so much, and be sure to subscribe. If you'd like to see how I got this look, just keep watching. Mwah. Hey guys, so are you ready to get started? I am going to show you basically what I'm going to use to prep my skin. I'm going to be using this glassy, and this is basically a skin primer. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my entire face with the glassy, and this is by Insole, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my face, and then I'm going to do my eyebrows off camera and come back, and we'll go ahead and start on this look. All right guys, so before I go ahead and do my eyebrows, I normally will use this NYX pore filler, and basically what it does is it fills in your pores and deep lines. So we're gonna go ahead and okay, so taking that pore filler, normally what I do is I'll take a little bit on my finger and the places where I have the biggest pores, which mainly on my nose, and what it does just fills in those pores and makes a smooth surface to work with. Since I do have like super lines right here, I do use it here as well, and like I said, it just smooths out the surface. As you guys can see, those lines are pretty much, you know, filled in. And then, you know, it just helps everything else go on smoother. And then, you know, you're not having to worry about makeup setting into deep pores and things like that. So I also always use it on my side of my cheeks. For some reason, pores are big here. All right, so this is I'm going to try my best to give you guys an in-depth video on how I do things. Now, I am not a makeup artist, and I've watched YouTube for the last several years, pretty much teaching myself. So I'm gonna just show you some of the things that I have learned and some of the tricks that I've just kind of come up with myself that work for me. It may not work for you, but it doesn't hurt to try. So again, that's the NYX pore filler. So now that I've done that and I've got my face primed and I've got the pore filler on, I'm gonna go ahead and set my face basically. So it's really shiny right now from that glassy primer, which is beautiful if I wasn't going to be doing my makeup. So I'm just gonna take the Airspun, then this is just a translucent setting powder, and this one is in translucent 070. And you can find this pretty much anywhere. So I'm just gonna dust it all over my face, and I'm just gonna be using a big fluffy brush. I use Morphe brushes for everything. Morphe is one of my favorite brush brands, and they have some fabulous palettes as well. And so Morphe is basically where I get all my brushes. So as you guys can see, like, I took away all that shininess. Whew, it's gonna make me sneeze. And then I also set that pore filler. So go ahead and do my eyebrows and I will be right. All right guys, so now that I'm done with my eyebrows, I'm gonna go in with my Too Faced Shadow Insurance. This is a eye primer, so when you're doing your shadows, your makeup does not move. Excuse the air. But basically I'm just gonna use a flat brush, and I'm going to apply this, if I can get any of it out of here, all over the lid. All right, guys, so I went ahead and used my shadow insurance. So I'm just gonna take my beauty blender and just press that into the skin. And I'm also gonna set this because I don't want it to be tacky. I want a nice, soft, smooth surface. So I'm just gonna take that Airspun again on a fluffy brush. This is a M510, so it's a Morphe 510 brush. This is usually the brush I use for all my dusting. It's getting a little shiny. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to take my beauty blender again and press that into the skin. And my beauty blender is damp, not super wet, really, really damp to the point where it's almost dry, but it's still very squishy. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my tape, and we're going to go ahead and tape the eye so we can get that really nice slice. Alright guys, so we're all taped and ready to go. So for today we're going to be using the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I like this palette because it's very versatile. It has a lot of different shades, so you can do several different looks with this palette. So I thought this would be an easy palette since a lot of people have it, and if not, I'm sure some of the colors you can find. So the first, I break this anyways, but the first one I'm going to go into is this one right here, and I'm actually going to be mixing this color with this yellow up here. All right, taking those two colors, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start kind of low and just kind of blend this into the corner, and we are not going to be precise. It's just kind of laying down your transition color. And it's up to you if you want to go into the inner corner or if you want to keep it kind of soft. Today I'm going to keep it kind of soft. I'm not going to go too far into the inner corner. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead in now with my M433, and I'm actually gonna go solely into this color, and then I'm going to take this color on this dark right here, and we're gonna deepen it up. We're gonna focus this in the crease mainly. Now the reason why I'm adding more of that mustardy yellow color is because I want it to really blend well with that brown, because the brown is going to be a really dark color. So I just want to make sure that everything blends together really seamlessly. All right, staying with the same brush, and I'm not going to take any product off. I'm going to go into this one right here before I go into this one. Okay, so this one here. Using the same brush, tap off the excess, and then just place this in that crease, gently blending. I'm just going to like build up the intensity instead of just slapping a whole bunch of color and hoping that it will blend out. The slower you are in building your color, the better your blend will be. And then if you make any mistakes, it's easier to fix it than if you have like a big blob of color just sitting there. You guys all know about my circular blending motions. It's a preference of mine. If it's, you know, you don't have to do it. It's just how I prefer to do things. Okay, so we're going to continue to build up that intensity. I'm going to go into a smaller, more defined brush, and this is also a Morphe. This is the Morphe E17. So this is from the Elite collection, I believe. They have like different collections. So going into that deeper brown that I showed you earlier, very lightly, and we're going to stick that in the crease as well, starting off in the corner. And then we're just gonna kind of pack it in the crease right there, and then we're gonna blend it. And as you see, I'm just kind of like pushing it into the crease. And let's go ahead and just start blending out from the front corner. This is just a more precise brush. As you can see, it places it right where you want it to be. So this is a really, really good brush to have in your collection. And just an FYI, don't get paid by Morphe to talk about their products or show you their brushes or anything. I just happen to really like Morphe. I really like what they're about, and I love their brushes. Their brushes are fabulous, and they are also really, really affordable. So that's just one thing that I like about Morphe. So again, I do not make any money off of them, not an affiliate or anything. Just want to make that clear. So continue blending and adding to your desire, basically. I really, really like kind of like where I'm at now, but I am gonna deepen up this corner. Okay, so there we go, we've got that deepness there. So I'm just gonna blend it out a little bit more with this brush. Okay, and then I'm just gonna show you guys on this eye, and then I will switch back to that eye off camera. So basically going into the M441 that I had earlier, I'm gonna dip back into the first two colors that I used to blend this together. So it was that really light brown and that mustard color, and we're gonna go ahead and blend over the top of this. And we're just gonna blend it out. Yeah, I like the blend that's happening right now. I think it's coming together. Coming together how I like it. So the darker, obviously, the more sultry the eye. It is definitely a preference thing. So I think at this point I am pretty much happy with that. I think I'm going to add just a tad bit more of that dark brown into this crease because I blended it and kind of taken that, you know, deep crease away. So alright guys, so I've got the other eye done. I'm gonna actually take, this is a really soft I don't know, I can't really read what this says. It's driving me nuts actually because I can't see it. So I'm actually gonna take the Shade and Light palette and I'm gonna go in with this one right here as my blending shade. This one is Ludwin. Ludwin. How funny. So just underneath the brow, and then this basically is going to blend into your edges, or blend out your edges, excuse me. It makes things a little bit easier, especially if you're having a hard time. You can always take a really soft, like white or even a translucent color and try to blend out those edges if you're having a really hard time. And don't be afraid to start over either. You know what I mean? I've had to start over many a times. It's frustrating, but it's worth it when you get, you know, what you're trying to do, basically. Now I am gonna blend this color again, but I'm gonna blend it into the inside to just kind of mattify the inner corner so it lightens it up a little bit more. Because we're not going to put anything there. We're going to keep it pretty simple. I just really wanted to make this look simple and easy for anyone to do. Even with a basic palette, you can make a really, really beautiful look. And this is a really pretty fall look. So, you know what, you guys? I don't know if I want to leave it matte like that, or do I want to use like crapola? Do I want to? Yeah, I think I'm going to. Let's just keep it simple, and then we'll get crazy with it next time. Alright guys, so that is it for the Jaclyn Hill palette. I am going to come back into this palette when we are done with our face because we're going to do underneath our eyes. I personally prefer to do my underneath of my eyes when I'm done with my makeup as opposed to before, because I tend to just wipe it all off and it makes no sense. So we're going to go back into that palette a little later, but let's go ahead and continue on. I am going to put lashes on at the last as well, so right now we're going to go ahead and start on our face. I didn't do any eyeliner, and I'll do eyeliner later. I didn't do any eyeliner today. So anyways, as you guys seen, I already prepped my face with this glossy. And so once I did that, I'm gonna go ahead and take my 24-hour Maybelline 24-hour foundation. This is one of my faves because it's full coverage, but it's not super thick, and it goes on really smoothly, and I just really like it. So I'm going to actually be using a stippling brush. A stippling brush. So basically, I mean, you know, someone asked me to show you how to apply foundation, and I don't really know how to show you to do it. Just put it on your face, I guess. Take your sponge. If you happen to have Fix Plus, what I've learned about Fix Plus, this is MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus, just to let you know. If you take this and after you're done with your makeup, go ahead and spray it on, let it dry a little bit, and then use your beauty blender to push it into the skin. It helps to, like, if you are not somebody that shaves your face, because I do. I know it's weird, but I do. And if you have like those little hairs and things like that, it helps to stick the hairs down, especially like so that it doesn't show through your makeup, because the hairs on your face can make a big difference on the way your foundation sits on your face. So my old trusty fan here. I got this fan from India, by the way, you guys. It was super hot. All right. It really, really makes your foundation look so flawless and glowy. I don't know. I just love the Fix Plus. Sorry for the sniffles. Always make sure you push into the corners of your nose. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead in with, this is the Revlon Youth Fill and Blur Concealer. It looks like that, just like a little pin thing, and you just kind of like, you know, like a pin. And basically for me, because I'm getting older, I don't do the big old huge triangle anymore. That doesn't really work for my skin anymore. So basically I just do it right here in the corner of the eye, bring it down, and I still do the nose and everything else. I just don't do that huge triangle. And of course, take that beauty blender and then just start to push that into the skin. And you're just basically highlighting the areas that you know, that your face would naturally have if you had naturally glowy skin, or, you know, whatever. So basically we're just creating highlights, and then with the contour, we're gonna create contrast to hide the areas that we don't necessarily like. So it's basically an illusion. We're magicians. I knew that was a lifelong dream. You didn't know that, did you, babe? My baby's sitting right here, you guys. Okay, so basically when I'm doing a full face makeup, this is what I do. If I'm not doing a full face makeup, I don't do all of this. But right now I am, and I'm showing you guys how I do things. Okay? And if you guys have any questions on anything that I use or anything, just go ahead and leave me a message below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I try to answer everybody. I try, but it doesn't always work that way. So I'm gonna actually be taking my Becca setting powder. This one is the Hydro Mist. Fantastic product. I got this in my BoxyCharm and I have not been able to put it down. It's my go-to setting powder. I do use the other ones for other stuff, but when it comes to like actually setting my concealer, I use this one, but I don't use it a lot because it's pretty pricey. So only for, you know, the good stuff. Don't fall. So basically it looks like that on the inside. I'm just gonna take my beauty blender, which is good for everything, people, good for everything. And then just, I love it because it feels so like, it feels more like wet, you know what I mean? And it doesn't look all cakey, and I don't know, it's just one of the best powders I've used so far. And then we're going to go ahead and leave this powder on and do our contour. Did I even bring a contour palette? No. So we'll just go ahead and with this. Okay, so this is my BH Bombshell bronzer, and I've had this forever. I don't even think that they carry this anymore. But it is one of my favorite bronzers, and if you can get a hold of it, it's the Bombshell bronzer from BH in Diva. I've got to see if I can get a hold of this again. Alright. So normally for my contouring, I just use like a really small, I don't even know if this is called a contour brush, but that's what we're going to call it today. So this is the Morphe M437, and I'm just going to be taking that pretty generously. Now, obviously, when contouring your face, you are looking for like structure, so your cheekbones. So doing the fishy thing is definitely necessary unless you have high cheekbones and you know where they are, but I don't. So yeah, I'm gonna do the fish face. So basically I took the corner of this and just kind of mapped that out. And I'm not gonna go all the way to my lips because we don't want to look like a fish, literally. So you want to stop it like midway, and then we'll start to blend it out. And you see you have that nice sleek right there. You know, you're nice and cut. And I always go up into my temples because I'm going to go up into the forehead area. And this is like, you don't have to do contouring the sides of your face. You don't have to. You can just do it here and then cut it off here. Now, everybody's face is different, so it's kind of a preference thing. Now, doing your forehead is basically how small you're trying to make your forehead look. If you're somebody that has a really big forehead, you know, you might want to contour it in a little bit more. If you don't have a big forehead, you might not want to contour so much, or if at all, you might maybe just want to do a little bit like on the corners or something like that. But you can definitely play with it to see what works for you. because like I said, everybody's different. So what works for me may not work for you and vice versa. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do the bottom half too, because obviously we don't want this to, everything's gotta kind of flow. So I always start in the middle and I go this way and I just follow the jawline, just follow it. And you're basically creating that shadow so it looks more defined. Then you're gonna just blend that. And make sure you go down onto the neck. Okay. Behind the ear is always a good thing, because remember, your face does, I mean, it stops, but it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't want to have like a sudden stop of color. So, and you don't have to continue to blend it with like this little brush. We're actually going to get a larger fluffy brush and blend it all together, so it's easier and faster. So this right here is just a little bit more defined, okay? And I'm not using like, I'm just using a bronzer. I'm not really using like a contour kit because I forgot to bring one in here. So I'm just using a bronzer and it's perfectly fine. Okay, so now that we've got our bronzer done, I'm gonna go ahead and take that big fluffy, one of my favorite fluffy brushes. This one is the Morphe MB1, and this I highly, highly recommend that you have in your collection of brushes. I'm also gonna start dusting off some of that powder. And when you leave the powder on while you're contouring, it helps to soften the contour that you've done, so that way it's not so hard for you to blend out, especially if you've done it too dark or maybe you use the wrong color. Just leaving that setting powder on there when you're doing your contour just helps you a lot with the blending. All right, so I'm gonna go in with my Power Up mascara, and I'm gonna go ahead and prep my lashes for falsies. And if you don't, have to wear falsies, especially if you're somebody that doesn't wear them, you don't have to. I think this look would look pretty with or without them. But I'm gonna go ahead and use falsies. Sorry. Okay, so I mean, this is what, if you wanted it to be completely done, this is what it would look like if it was completely done. So you don't have to do underneath your eyes if you don't want to. If you just want it kind of more simple, you just wanted a pretty look to go out the door and do your, go through your day, you can finish the look right here. You don't have to continue on. But I am going to obviously continue on. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put my lashes on. And of course, I always use the Kiss lash strip adhesive in clear. I really, really, really like this lash glue. And I use this glue for a lot of other things. If I'm doing like a Halloween look or something, or even for my wigs. Not very often will I glue my wig on unless I'm gonna have it on like all day long. But this glue works wonders. And I always place some glue on the corner because that's my problem area, basically. So you guys know the drill. Go ahead and let this dry until it gets tacky, and then all right guys, so we got lashes on. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our under eye, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that fuzzy off my brush. But this yellow right here, or the mustard anyways, and then the brown that's right next to it. There you go, you guys can see it better, these two colors. Oh man. Together, okay? And then you're gonna run that just along. All right guys, so with that same Bombshell bronzer, I'm going to be taking this little Luxie angled brush, 131. Finally I could see something, and I'm actually gonna contour the nose. Now if you know if you want to know why I'm contouring my nose, it's basically because I want my nose to appear a little bit smaller than it is right now, and a little bit more even. You guys know that I was born with a cleft lip and nose, so it affected my nose as well. So my nose isn't even. So this is my way of trying to get my nose as even as I possibly can, and just to make it look a little bit smaller. It's a preference thing. You don't have to contour your nose, especially if you have a cute little nose like my wife. And then you want to make sure that you get the actual bottom part of your nose, because you got to create that shadow to make the nose look shorter or longer or skinnier, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And then go up onto the side of the nose, nostrils. Okay, so you guys can see that I have created that shadow there. And then that same brush that I use for, oops, I'm knocking stuff over here, for my contour, I'm gonna just take off some of that product on it. And then I'm gonna just basically blend this in so it's not so noticeable, obviously. And there we go. Now, one trick that you can also do is take some of that setting powder, like say you've got too much contour on your nose here. You can take some of that setting powder and put it along your nose and define it just a little bit more. Okay, so these are all just little tips and tricks that I've learned from watching other YouTubers. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're gonna go ahead in with blush and highlighter. All right guys, so for my blush today, I'm gonna be using my contour and blush palette from BH. This is also another product from BH that I absolutely love. And BH, I'm just gonna talk about them really quick. I am not getting paid to talk about BH at all either. I just happen to really like them, and BH is where I started about 5 years ago in makeup. And one thing I noticed about BH is that they have really great products, and their prices are so affordable. That's why I started there, because I didn't want to be buying all these high-end products that were super expensive that I didn't know how to use, and then I could potentially end up wasting. So if you are a newbie, even if you're not a newbie, I'm sure a lot of people can tell you that BH is a fabulous place to start. You can also find some of BH products at like Ross, Marshalls, and TJ Maxx. But if you go on their website, obviously you'll find everything, and then they have like some discounts and stuff. And then in the holidays, when I ordered most of my stuff, I got really good discounts and really good deals on their products. So BH Cosmetics is one of the best places to start if you're new at it. So just wanted to throw that out there. So anyways, this is one of my favorite blushes right here. It kind of goes with any look. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this blush with a blush brush, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use this one. This is the Morphe R4. It's actually pretty fluffy. Not normally the blend or blush brush that I would use, but it's what's in my face right now. Okay. Okay, now the same thing with doing blush. I know some people get really scared with blush because if you go ballistic, like you just have this big old pink patch on your face. But remember this fluffy, fluffy, fluffy blush, right? I mean brush is your best friend, and this will help you blend out anything. Sometimes things might take a little longer than others, but this baby right here has got your back. Okay, as you can see. Now, one more tip, go back into your bronzer palette or your contour palette that you used, take the corner of that and go back over that contour and blend it into the blush, only because you want them to blend together, and sometimes your blush can kind of like push out the contour, I guess, if I'm saying that correctly. I don't know, but you know. And then also helps to calm the blush down too, like say, you know, it's a little too bright or pink or whatever. Okay, so we're good with that. Now I'm going to show you guys something really cool. I got this. I don't want to kind of like flip it flat because one of my highlighters is broken, but I had this made for me a while ago. This is my Mad Dog Bitch palette. This is actually one of those magnetic palettes, and there's a girl who has her own line, and I bought some products from her as well as this, and this is one of my favorite things. I didn't finish filling it up, but basically it has a picture of my wife on it, and her nickname was Mad Dog. And as you guys can see from her facial expressions, why she's called Mad Dog. So anyways, I'm going to be using, like I said, some of my highlighters broke, but this is the highlighter right here, and this is the highlighter right here that also she makes, and I believe it's Love Luxe Beauty, and I will link that below for you guys so you can find her. She's got some amazing products. So basically, I'm just going to go in with my fan. And I'm going to be taking the pinky one. As my highlighter. Like I said, it's broken, so. My goodness. Be shining like a diamond. Whoa! I'm gonna fly. Have you ever seen a unicorn in real life? Well, you've just seen one. Okay, then this is a preference thing too, dust on the nose. Highlight your nose. Okay, remember that's a preference thing. You don't have to do it. You give a little dust over your Cupid's bow. Although I don't have one. And a little bit on the chin. It's okay. I am mad at it. Okay, so like I said, your best friend. Ooh. My goodness, you guys. Okay.